You know, the same way that I preach, you know, men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jaxn's no exemption. He's not.
Third person again, because it couldn't be the man. No way. The brand, not the man. I think that's what we should title this video. It says, "Did I cheat in my marriage?" I think we should retitle this to "The Brand, Not the Man." Welcome to the Relationship Theory, everyone. Here we take thoughts in, break them down, build them up, and play them out. Today, we're going to be talking about Derrick Jaxn and the truth of his marriage. I don't watch Derrick Jaxn. I don't subscribe to his user base and the content that flies around. I've heard about it through Albin Preach and mediocre tutorials and reviews. I've watched it through there, but I personally do not know this man all that much. I have seen a few videos, but I do know that he talks about relationships and the back and forth between men and women, and he tries to break down some details about what you might expect, well, more so from what a woman might expect from a man. Hasn't been too positive. That's what I can say from that. But here today we have a video where he's talking about how he has cheated on his wife, and I just wanted to break down my energetic perspective, my emotional perspective about these things. I think we should just jump right into it.
What's going on, guys? Derrick Jaxn here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Danae, and we just wanted to address a couple of things. You know, we understand that some of you may have already heard, maybe not, that this chapter of our marriage is one that was preceded by a marriage that I completely failed. And I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year. But, you know, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true. Some of it is completely false.
My lovely wife, we know you don't believe that. You're just saying that because it sounds nice. Some of it is true. Some of it is completely false. You mean the parts that matter is what's true? That's the only thing that matters. The false, no one cares about the false. Let's just get to it, Derrick.
But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women.
Third person, guys. Not I, Derrick Jaxn. As in, the brand was involved with women outside of his marriage. Not I, not the person. It couldn't be the person. It couldn't ever be the person. Why could it possibly be the person? The man? Absolutely not. No way. Derrick Jaxn only knows about the men that Derrick Jaxn talks about in Derrick Jaxn's videos, but not I. It couldn't possibly be I.
Outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing.
We know.
And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out.
Which is only really specifically aligned with the relationship that's involved. If that's what's happening in your relationship and you both have communicated those standards, that's not inappropriate. Don't let this be the standard.
Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now.
Now, as if you weren't before. Now, I haven't been tracking this man. I don't know what he used to stand on. That's certainly already undermined. If we're looking for the righteousness and the justice of a thing and the appropriateness of a thing, I would assume that we're going by a biblical standard, or at least a humane one. But then again, humane would have to actually involve communicating, which, if that was the case, we wouldn't be here.
Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm, married to you guys. First and foremost, I'm accountable to God.
Yes, you are married to us. You aren't married to the entire universe. Take some responsibility.
Then I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation I've already told her literally everything. I've given her basically a roll call list. If I've said hello to a woman in the last 12 years of me knowing her, she knows about it.
By the way, that's not necessarily good. Just so we all know and we're on the same page. Someone knowing the things that align with not having a successful, structured, closed-in, exclusive, committed relationship, that's not exactly good information. As a matter of fact, you don't need that information to have an exclusive, committed, and healthy, high-quality relationship, even if you've messed up. I've heard from somewhere, I'm not going to say the source, but I've heard from somewhere, if you're going to mess up like that, if you're not going to make the mistake ever again, you keep your mouth shut and you just follow suit and do what you need to make sure that the relationship survives. If you don't plan on stopping, however, feel free to share as much information as you need.
But now that it's been made so public, it's important that I first off let you guys know I do not stand by those actions. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that.
By doing it, Derrick, you've already done that. Permission by example, sir.
And then secondly, I know that I cannot build a platform preaching certain things, preaching against certain things, and then in my real life live contrary to that for any amount of time or any length of time to any extent and think that I can't be held accountable. You know, the same way that I preach, you know, men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jaxn's no exemption. He's not.
Third person again, because it couldn't be the man. No way. The brand, not the man. I think that's what we should title this video. It says, "Did I cheat in my marriage?" I think we should retitle this to "The Brand, Not the Man."
Exempt from that. I'm also not a victim. Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend influenced me. It don't matter how I was raised and what trauma, whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions.
I made decisions. Wouldn't know if it's good or bad or not. Wouldn't know if it mattered to the relationship or not. I made decisions. If it was up to me, and it is, you sound pretty proud.
I got to account for. There's no excuse or justification. I've already made that bed and have had to lie in it.
Multiple times.
And now we're finally getting on to the other side, personally, in our own healing, in our own marital oneness. And now this is being made.
This sounds like the Red Table Talk all over again. Yes, I've messed up, and to save the brand, let's talk to the people. Let's make sure that the people know that we know that they know that we know that they know that we know that they know. Just keep ping-ponging the responsibility. Oh, and there's that favorite word again, the healing. Healing. Oh boy, I love that word. I love the fact that people use that word as if that's supposed to be some magnificent, glorious thing from which you've endured scars, and I am here to show that I can do it and you can too. Sorry guys, if you're healed from something, you are simply able to articulate events behind it. It's like vulnerability. I describe vulnerability as being able to articulate sensitive detail without polarity. You don't need any weight, you don't need any emotion, you need any shaking of your body to transmit information. No matter how delicate it is, you just do it. That's healing too, when you can just do things like that. Might stagger some other people, but if you're okay with it, you're able to just say what you need to say and move on. So this isn't healing.
Public to you guys, so we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Yes, so I do want to just add that I agree with what he just said. There is no justification for bringing other women into our marriage on any level. And it was unacceptable, and it's not something that I tolerate or that we tolerate moving forward.
Then why are you here in this video now?
And when I've been flooded again with messages and these things and about, you know, I need to leave or why haven't I left?
Because I love him. That should be the only thing I hear next.
And the answer is, when I found out about it, I left. I did not hesitate or waste time to do so. And I stayed gone. No matter how many times he came, I stayed gone and stood firm on, I am not coming back. And I did did not come back until I seen a shift and a change in his
So you were walking away looking back. Okay.
mentality and how he carried himself and how he presented himself and conversations that we were able to have that we had never been able to have in just 12 years.
Right, because like I said, he was proud of the decisions he made. He wasn't interested in communicating with you in the first place. Moving on.
Known each other. And when we were able to have these dialogues, said, okay, Lord, this is something that you've had your hand on. And this was with me being completely removed from his life. And
Kind of, sort of removed.
And him pursuing God, continuing to pursue God, and continuing to eliminate these things that led up to the catastrophe that you guys are seeing for the first time. So there's
Doesn't look like a catastrophe to me.
nothing out there right now that is information that I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have...
Oh, so it means it's okay. Guys, don't worry. Never mind. Derrick has been cheating for even longer than we thought. Never mind, guys. Nothing to see here.
Moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek guidance and wise counsel from men of God. And that is what I needed for the continuation of me being present and in this marriage and to stand by his side. So,
which is fine. You're getting some counsel and outside help and resources and support and community involved. You need that. You also needed that before, like when you were in the relationship, before things were getting bad, or, whenever you actually care, you kind of need a community to help you care too when you fall short. I also like the fun part where we're starting to bring God into this, as if that wasn't already implemented from the very beginning. I think we need to really, really get in touch with the fact that when you say God, you're really either talking about the mind or the fact that everything is everything in everything. And so when you're interacting and you're doing what you need to do, all of that is God in and of itself. There's nothing outside or inside God that is too far or too close. Everything is God. It's like, my question would be, so why are you trying to run away from him? Why did you run away? You're not trying to pursue anything. You stepped away and now you need to come back.
Today, where I'm at is at peace, and I proudly stand by his side, and I have
probably stand.
No hesitation. I have no hurt, no shame about that. And it's only because of the grace of God and the mercy of God. And we have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you all. And I forgave him, and most importantly, God has first forgiven him, and I also forgive the others as well. And with that, we are free and moving forward. So absolutely, that's all I have.
Yeah.
By the way, before he continues speaking, let's all just point out that holding on to the hand thing. I've seen some comments say, oh, he's holding on for dear life to the marriage because of the brand. This is an energetic perspective, so please, that physical contact is an interaction. They're having a conversation right before our eyes, really. Now, I'm not even giving the details on like what they're doing as far as the small movements that they're making. I'm just listening to their words, because that's all you really need to be listening to. You don't have to see anything and know that this is absolute bull dookie. But anyway, the fact that they're holding hands so tightly like that, whatever decision she would have really liked to make is sort of constricted by the fact that he's holding her hand. He is able to instantly transmit physically whatever he really wants her to say, or to remind her of anything that she might not be so sturdy within herself to want to say. Well, he's holding a hand to guide her through anything that's difficult that she might really not want to say on camera. Because I'm pretty sure she has plenty more words she'd love to say off camera.
And I get it. Some of y'all, like, this may come as a huge shock, probably a huge disappointment. I let a lot of you down. If you've had a perspective shift on who Derrick is, hopefully it's away from anything remotely close to perfection, and it is simply that, I am a human, and that does not justify anything that I did. But I don't want anybody out there to be putting me on a pedestal.
Stop.
If you did, then I hate that you
Stop.
did that.
Stop. Everyone, you heard that? Now I want you to take a second and think about any one of your friends that have made a mistake, any one of your family that have made a mistake, any one of your brothers, your sisters, your partners, anybody that mattered to you. I want you to just think back. This might have happened a month ago. This might have happened a week ago. This might have happened 6 months ago. This might have happened a year ago. This might have happened 5 years ago. This might have happened 10 years ago. When was the last time that when the person you cared about made a mistake told you that I'm only human, but I'm flawed? I make mistakes. All of those emotions that you feel about, okay, yes, you made a mistake. Yes, it doesn't mean, yes, you are human, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that you didn't make a mistake. That doesn't mean that making mistakes is inherently a human thing.
Maybe I gave you cause for that, and I apologize if I did. For those who are saying, Derrick, I don't want to ever listen to you again, it's totally understandable. I appreciate you while I had your support and helping me get the message out about healing and healthy relationships to so many people who needed it, myself included.
No. As far as what I've heard from other people, videos, subscribers, and creators, no one was depending on you for healing. They were depending on you to make them feel the way that they needed to feel, to express the hatred that they couldn't do themselves onto a loud platform in order to share with other people and get them to feel the way that they felt about their own hatred. They weren't trying to push their hatred. They were trying to spread it, and you helped them.
And for those who are going to continue to support, man, I appreciate you like never before, because I know it's not going to be easy going forward, at least for a little while so many things are still fresh and attached to my name.
Because that's what it's really about.
But for everybody out there, if you get nothing else from what I've ever said over the last 9 years or right here in this video, please get this. Nothing is right until it is right with God.
I just love the layers here. So he pulls the I'm only human card for his mistakes, and then he says nothing is right until it's right with God. And then when we just revisit the fact that God is right in your face in every single moment, it was you who turned your face, not God.
Nothing works until it comes into alignment with biblical standard of how God told us to do things, especially when we're talking about a marital, spiritual covenant.
Yes.
It's 2021. Derrick Jaxn, if you haven't noticed, less and less people have a religious connection to the idea of God. Less and less. And that's actually fine. It makes sense to write certain things down, but in such a case as life and nature, there are certain things transcribed into the code of nature and adaptation that need no description or record keeping. No.
You cannot do this by your own understanding, your own intelligence, your own willpower, your own values. You have to have the grace of God.
Oh, so yes, I love it. Just keep stacking on the fact that as a human, you are useless and you make mistakes, and there's nothing you can do better or right by anyone. So any mistakes you make are completely forgiven by some unknown entity somewhere, and that's possibly even higher than God, because you're just this filthy maggot of a human being that can do nothing right, and then by that same measure can do nothing wrong either. Right, and then try to tell everyone else that they're just as useless as you are because you were supposed to be responsible and you just showed yourself to not be responsible. And if someone as high and mighty as Derrick Jaxn can make a mistake, then surely you as the peasant can make mistakes and not be considered anything any higher or lower.
To break free from certain things, to stay away from certain things, to not operate from your lowest self, whatever it may be. And it's because it's really only by God's grace that we're even able to be here on this video, holding hands. Well, like a year goes.
Yeah, no, she's not with you, bro. She's not with you. I'm not, but she's not. I mean, all you had to do was set up a camera in your living room with the woman beside you, hit the red button, and just talk in front of it for 7 minutes and 37 seconds, and then just post it to YouTube. I don't think the grace of God has anything to do with you being competent.
7-8 months ago even, I couldn't see this happening. I thought it was over, and I already had begun establishing my relationship with God, but that's the fruit of bringing things in alignment with God. And the mess that's been made, the mess that's now being made public from last year and years past, that's a result.
Because things are so far back in the past that it doesn't matter anymore. You should just get over it. We've heard this all before. This is the Red Table Talk. Again.
Of getting out of alignment with doing things God's way. So that's where I stand. That's where we stand. And again, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
I gotta say, that was just a mess. That was just a mess of a video, people. That was just a mess of a video. I'd even say this was even worse than the Red Table Talk with Will and Jada. Why? Because we don't even know this man, really. We don't even know this man. And he also proved it by throwing the whole, it's the brand, not the man issue in front of us. And then stacking that on with he's only human, he makes mistakes. If you were to find out it was the man. And then even if you get past the whole, okay, he's only human part, it's like, yeah, but then God made me, and you know, I'm a worthless maggot, and that's why I'm even trying to follow in his footsteps. And that's the only reason why you got to see any mistakes. That's the only reason why you get to see a blotch on my absolutely white tunic of holy priesthood, because, well, God made me in a way that, like, he never said that my tunic wasn't ever going to not get a blotch. He just said that I'm perfect, and that you're not. And in any case that you suggest to yourself that you are perfect and you're like me, well, then you need to be of my high status and stature. You need to have nearly 1 million subscribers if that's the case. You need to be able to make videos yourself of relationships or marriages where you've messed up, and you can post videos yourself, because you ought to not be able to judge me, because only God can judge me, and because I'm a human, I'm a maggot, so God would be judging a maggot. So therefore, not even God can judge me, because he's the one who made me this way in the first place. You see, it's no one's fault. The Reeds, guys, the Reeds. I think we know Derrick Jaxn. We know. The ones who've used you for hatred needed you to look perfect, and you've done your part. But everyone else who knew, we know. We know. This is the relationship theory, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this cover of It's the Brand, Not the Man. Derrick Jaxn's apology. Enjoy your day.